Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the live stream. I'm Jesse Showalter, and I'm hoping you're here joining me because you want to see some design work, because that is what we are doing today. If you are in the chat, say hello. It's Wednesday. We're doing stuff. We're going to get some stuff done. Kumar's in the chat. It says, let's have a coffee. I prefer coffee over tea, but I will do the tea if there's no coffee available. I'm going to go black coffee, a little bit of cream, no sugar, preferably espresso before that. And then if I have to go tea, I'm going to go mint tea for sure. Let's see. Victor's coming from Peru. Edgar's is saying hello, and he's excited for the live stream. I am as well. You can chat in the chat. And if you have questions, you can ask those in the chat as well. That's what we want to do. Answer your questions. So we're going to be designing a little bit of a shoe application inside of Adobe XD. Hello to Kevin and to Ayub and to Ryan and everybody else that's here. I'm going to be designing a little shoe app, like an iOS kind of based shoe app inside of Adobe XD. But also, I feel like more importantly, I want to talk with you. I want to answer your questions. I want to show you my workflow. I think something really fun at the end of this is I want to show you how I would take the design that I create and export it out to create a dribble shot or a Behance project, to create maybe like a 3D interactive video or GIF, and then also like some nice mock-ups, some different things that I use. Edgar says, sometimes coffee, sometimes tea, staying away from consuming coffee right now. Good for you. Good for you. Well, maybe bad for you. Maybe it's giving you headaches. I'm not really sure. Hey, we're going to jump right in to my desktop so you can see what I got going on. And hey, throughout this stream, again, if you have any questions about workflow tools, anything, I would love to engage with you in the chat. Ask away. I'll try to make sure I see it. Ooh, here's a question. Hey, Jesse, how is your work in lockdown going? It's going good. It's going all right. I'm focusing way more on content right now, and I actually made a big career shift to where I'm also pastoring at my church. So I'm doing that as well as being an educator online and doing design work. So it's going okay for me. How's it going for you guys? You staying safe? Is work okay? What can I help you with? What questions can I answer to help you in maybe a possible feast or famine kind of thing? I'm going to open up my Adobe XD file while I'm here waiting for your questions to roll in. And let's get going. I got it. It's a blank file. It's just got a couple icons on the screen. That's all we're really doing. Okay, people from Ghana, West Africa in this live stream. What's up? What's up, Ghana? How you doing? Okay, why don't we get started? And let's just take some of these icons that I have. Let's build a little simple, really simple navigation. Again, we're going to be doing some workflow stuff. We're going to be doing some tips and tricks on how I like to do things. I'm going to hit R for rectangle. I'm going to stretch that out. I'm just going to make this a really yucky color really quickly so you can see it while we're working on it. All right. I'm going to hit the hotkey of Command or Control left bracket to bring it behind everything. See how we did that? We just brought that thing behind. We're going to call this BG background. We're going to grab all of them together and group that together. That's going to be called our nav. Let's see. You should make a video on breaking down music. I know you have a background in me. I do have a background in music. I bet if people would like to see me talking about music, I'm into it. I might just go right back here in my office and pull a guitar off the wall and play a little something. Probably not, but it'd be funny. Okay, so while we're in here, what we're gonna do is why don't we zoom in on this little project right here. And I'm going to, in Adobe XD, which I really like, is that you can hold down like the Option key and just give a border radius to one side. So I'm gonna do that there. I'm gonna give it 4 pixels border radius on that side, on that side. Let's refill this thing with white and give it a shadow with a little negative y-axis. I say axis instead of axis. Sorry about that. And I'm gonna bring this drop shadow way down. I like to keep all drop shadows on almost everything under 6 or 7% of transparency. Otherwise, they just get too intense, right? Kevin says, because of your videos, I'm taking a full stack bootcamp in August to hopefully become a full stack designer. What's up, Kevin? Taking that bootcamp. Hey, if you don't know what a full stack designer is, I did a whole video on it, but basically it's just a made up term that says you're a person who likes a little bit of design, a little bit of development. You're most likely going to be doing some digital products, but you kind of span the gambit of kind of like design and development. You fit right in there. It's a great thing to be if you want to work in startups, you want to do web design, you like tech. It's a great thing to be. Let's see. Kumar says, which is better to use as a beginner, Figma or XD? Honestly, I think they're both really, really good. I would use both of them. I think they both have their benefits, their pros, their cons. But both of them have a free tier, if I'm not mistaken. You can just start with that. And so that's pretty cool. I'm just saying, I think that's pretty cool. So either one of those, Kumar, I think go with what works best for you. And it also might just be situational, like go with what you can find the most resources on, starting files. You know, that's how I actually got started in design, was grabbing other people's files, tearing them apart and putting them back together to see how they were done. So whatever is the best, right? Whatever works for you. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there. High five from Reunion Island. What's up, Alexander? I will say this, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm probably going to tick some people off. I'm kind of over Sketch. I'm over it. I don't think it's developing or progressing fast enough. So I might have just said bad words to you because I said maybe no Sketch, but I'm just starting to lean a little further away from Sketch as a platform. It's not multi-platform. You can't use it online. The collaboration kind of stinks. That's the big one, is that I'm a PC user as well as a Mac user. So I just think any design software should be available in as many platforms as possible. That's why Figma rocks. That's why XD is getting better and better. So, okay. When will you finish this design? Then a programmer needs to make it into code. Yes, exactly. You got to finish this design. Somebody's got to turn it into code. You guys have so many good questions. I'm trying to like weave through them and figure out which ones to answer while still getting some work done. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just, I think that's probably good. Simple nav. It doesn't need to be anything flashy, but I'm going to do something which is kind of cool inside of XD, which is open up the XD libraries or the CC libraries. And I have a little library that I created all about shoes. Okay, so I'm just going to have that over there on the side and work with it. Hey, Jesse, love your videos. AK says, what should I focus on learning first if I want to be a UX designer? I think you should probably focus on some basic design principles, and then you should really focus on a user's journey. If you just Google that term user journey, you're gonna find what that means is thinking about a user from start to finish. What's the simplest way? So let's say, for instance, in this case, we want a user to buy a shoe. This ties in perfectly. What is the first thing I want them to see when they get there? I'm going to design while I'm answering your question, AK. What is the first thing I want them to see? Probably shoes. Probably a selection of shoes and be able to drill down on the types of shoes they like. I want to offer them all the tools. Then once they get there, they find a shoe, I want to get them to the checkout experience seamlessly. I want to make it really, really beautiful. So you want to be a UX designer. It's about problem solving, not necessarily about visuals, but I think learning some of that visual design stuff would really help you. Okay, so with that being said, let's just get some text out here really quick. Shoes, I'm just gonna write shoes. I know that sounds like really awesome just to write the word shoes on a shoe app. Let's use Poppins because I'm still not over this font. I love it a whole bunch. And let's kick it up to a medium weight right there. Okay, shall we do that? I think we shall. Let's go shoes. And then I tell you what, why don't we hit E for lips and draw a little avatar right here. We'll just center align it, bring it over to the side. Our text is about 30 from that side. Why don't we make our avatar about 30 from that side as well? Take the border off, open up our plugins, and use the UI Faces plugin to get a little face. While that's rendering, let's look at some more questions. AK, we are literally still answering your question as we go. We're answering it by doing it, is what I'm saying for you, AK. So I'm gonna group those together, go back to my layers panel right here. And I'm just gonna call this top. That's easy. Let's lock both of those, the nav and the top, and see what we're doing. Okay, Come Glim, which is a great name, says, why is UX and UI so popular right now? Because of the better money. When I open Dribbble, UI design is all I see anymore. It's really, really hot because we've gone out of the wild west of the web and we're becoming more into a refined era of technology. It's moving really, really fast. Mobile applications are huge. Watch interfaces, huge. Tablets, there's so much. Everything's streaming. Nobody's like, can you find, where's a Blockbuster? Can you go get a Blockbuster video anymore? No, everything's streaming. So everything needs interfaces now. And with the surge of interfaces, the surge of good looking interfaces and well-executed experiences is really, really important. Hope that answers your question. But as the rise happens, so goes the need. It's supply and demand. It's basic economy stuff. Let's hit R for rectangle and let's draw a little shape out right here. And we are going to, should we do like pills? I don't know if I'm gonna like pills, but let's try pills. I'm gonna take the border off, turn our shadows on. Let's take the blur of this thing way out there, kick it down just a little bit. And remember the rule of shadows, gotta go under 5%, right? Look at how chill that looks. Now, we don't have a lot of contrast there, and maybe that's what we want. I would prefer a little bit more contrast. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit a rectangle all the way down to the bottom. I'm gonna give it kind of an off-white color. Okay, I'm gonna take the border, and again, Command or Control left bracket, move it to the back. See how much more contrast just happened there? Watch this. Okay, see when we go off, little bit of an off color. We don't have to put really thick drop shadows. Actually, we can even do less now. This drop shadow is at like 5. Dude, we can drop this thing way down to like 2. Look how much smoother that looks now. And it's because we're not trying to battle the contrast is what I'm saying. Okay. So Ralph says, hope you're doing good, Jesse. You let me know how to export our work as high quality images to use in mockups. We're going to do that at the end, Ralph. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I don't like these full blown pills, so I'm just going to bring these back. Little bit of border radius. This is literally just, people ask us all the time, why did you choose not to make a pill or round or square or whatever it is? It's purely preference at this point. I'm designing a concept. If I had real design limitations, I'd probably be a little bit more specific about it. But right now I'm thinking I have these rounded edges, which, I need to change the drop shadow on this bad boy because it's too intense. You tracking with me? Yeah, it is. It's way too intense. So now that we added that contrasting color, it stuck out way too much, okay? Okay, so let's, little less of an off-white. I'm just gonna mess with the opacity really quick. I'm gonna lock that. First, I'm gonna name it BG, okay? And now we're starting to build out our table cells, okay? Okay, for this shoe app, Edgars, have you already done user research and preparation? No, I'm kind of just concepting and trying to do some basic design principles today, okay? So this is not like a real client project. This is just me kind of like on my lunchtime walking through a few design type things, but there is some basics that we can learn from this, so it's not all just for show. So stay with me, right? Don't just think we're doing things that wouldn't work in the real world. I would never ever do that to you guys. Okay, I'm gonna unlock this guy and relock it. All I did was grab the text out of there. I'm gonna bring it down inside. Let's do Nike Lunar Lawn. I think I have some names of some Nike shoes up over here. These might not be the actual Nike shoes, but it's at least something to work off. Okay, I'm gonna open that CC library up again, and I'm gonna grab a shoe and I'm gonna drag it onto my canvas. Okay, let's close this library really quickly. And wow, that is a gigantic shoe, Gigantosaurus. Okay, so I'm gonna drop it down. Okay, and I'm gonna bring my shoe into my project. I'm gonna hit the little flip button, just horizontally flip it, and I kind of like a little bit of overlay. I want the shoe to be pretty decent size. So I like that a lot, okay? And back to one of the original questions, we wanna give, what's a good user experience to be able to shop the shoes, but see the bare amount of information you'd need to continue shopping for these shoes. So not just the name, not just the image, but a lot of people are probably gonna wanna see the price also. Let's do like $129.99 right there. We'll put it in US dollars. And then let's take the color of this down to like a gray, something like that. Okay, so far, this seems like, oh yeah, he's just putting information in, but what we're also trying to do is offer some good information right off the bat that helps the user at this state. I don't want to offer them too much information. I don't want to offer them too little information. I want to offer them just the right amount. Also design-wise, basic kind of design stuff-wise, I also want to create a little contrast between this text. I'm doing that. I have whole videos on typography scales, typographic scales, the golden ratio. The way you're going to do that is a really simple way, is to take whatever this text size is. Let's make this 12, okay? And then I just want to go 12 times 2, 24. Now I have like kind of scaling up by 2. You can do the golden ratio or 2. We'll just do 2 here. And then also you do a little bit of contrast with the color. You can use other basic things like color size, weight. So I dropped 2 weights here. These are on medium and these are on regular. So just some little tips there. All right, why don't we jump in here really quickly and use our polygon tool. Let's draw out a polygon. Let's give it Boom, boom. 5 sizes, 5 sides. Woo, that's what I meant to say. And then why don't we turn that a little bit into a star using all of our polygon stuff we got over here. Let's pick a nice kind of star, I don't know, like review color, something like that. All right, and you know what we could do is why don't we just put it right up in line with the price. These are value propositions that we're kind of offering here for the shoe. I'm gonna press Command or Control R to do a repeat grid. Let's do 5 stars on this thing. Really nice in XD that we can do that. Okay, so far so good. We all tracking with everything that's going on? All right, cool. Any other questions? Hey, Jesse, how do you decide colors, shapes, and particular style for individual elements? Is there some research or theory involved? There's definitely color theory, to answer your question, Kritika. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Definitely color theory, right? We don't want to do something that's supposed to be really professional, and like really calming. We don't want to do that with aggressive red colors, and it's just a little bit too intense. So definitely do a little studying on color theory. There are general uses for color. Okay, that's why Facebook is blue. It's supposed to be like this all-encompassing, trustworthy kind of site. Debatable, and that's why like things that are organic tend to use green. Things that are kind of energy-based or passion-based are red. So color theory is one of them. You can play some of the same kind of thoughts into shapes. Things that are really angular, a little bit more aggressive. Things that are round are a little bit more soft and subtle. Okay, so I'm doing kind of rounded rectangles to kind of span the gambit. Okay, so it could be any one of them. I'm going to group these together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Command or Control R, repeat grid. Voop. I'm just going to drop a bunch of these down like so. And now I can mess with the spacing. I'm just going to give these a little bit less spacing in between. Pretty cool. Okay. Now I'm going to select the, let's see, I should be able to, hopefully, I don't know if I can do this in CC libraries. Can I select multiple shoes and drag those multiple shoes in here? I surely can. Look at that. The only problem that we have with that is that it's kind of cutting off. It's kind of constraining or containing my my shoes, but that's fine. We can just go in here after we're done. Let's ungroup this grid and let's try to get a little bit more spacing. Oh man, there we go. We just bring the shoe inside of that. That's pretty cool. You know, let's go back really quick. Let's do that. Woo! Let's do that again. Open up CC libraries. Make sure that we are on XD. Boom. Let's drag all those back in again. And because it is a repeat grid, we should be able to grab one element and flip it without it well, I guess we can't actually. Let's grab all of them. Flip all of them, shall we? Boom, boom, boom. Turn them all around horizontally there. Okay, that works. Something like that. Now, we also want to make sure our repeat grid is down underneath our navigation so everything flows well. Okay, and then we could do like we were about to do, which is come in and ungroup the grid and make some changes just to the mask shape and bring our shoe inside of it so it's not getting cut off. Okay, that one's okay. That one's okay. Is that one okay? I don't know. Do we really care for this concept project? We may or may not. I'm not really sure. Okay. Let's see. Ayub says, since you have some experience, I want to ask, I study video editing, sound design, web design development, woo, and 3D. So should I stick to what I love or develop my skills in all of them? I would say stick to what you love. I would say there's always a time in all of our careers where you have to, let me just jump out scene-wise here. There's always a time where you have to do things you don't want to do, and you want to learn a wide array of different things. It's like learning electives in school. It's good for you, right? It helps you figure out what you love and don't love. But at a certain point, you probably should drill down so that you're not stuck constantly doing things you don't love. So if you love 3D, you should start honing your skills more in 3D and slowly but surely niching yourself down into 3D. I hope that answers your question. I think you're just gonna love life a little bit more. You're gonna enjoy what you do a little bit more. Okay, now that we have all of these, we have these groups of boom, 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 all these shoes. Why don't we group them together and call these shoes? And I just wanna focus really quickly on one specific one. Let's go featured shoe. That says show, featured shoe. Like that, okay? And then what I want to do is I'm going to use Adobe XD's new scroll groups. I'm going to hit a vertical scroll group right over here, just like that. Ooh, excuse me, I should have done the whole thing. Grab the whole layer that is shoes, extend the constraints of this thing out, and let's take this all the way down. The little constraints are, it's where things are gonna cut off as it scrolls. But now without doing any extra prototyping or states or anything, we can scroll down on these bad boys. And if you really wanted to, you could grab all of these. You could do more copies of them just like that. We have lots of shoes now, and we can scroll down our prototype. You can drag it with your mouse, or you can just scroll it on a magic mouse like I'm doing like that. Pretty cool stuff. Okay. All right. Let's see. So that's pretty good for the first one. We have this featured shoes and then this featured shoe kind of thing right over here. That's a good start. Why don't we drag this over yonder, and we'll start designing a little bit of our next one. Okay. Our next screen. We're just going to do 2 screens today. Let's call this shoes, and let's call this featured. Okay, if we could spell that correctly. I don't know if we can. Ayub, it says, thank you. You're so welcome, Ayub. Keep up the good work. Do your thing. Okay, let's see. Do you have any advice on making the transition into UI and UX? Mentors, bootcamps, resources. I'm a new subscriber. You come from an illustration background, Ramon says. Well, I would say you need to start learning the lingo, start learning the medium, start doing a lot of exploration personally. Before you do boot camps or any of that kind of stuff, you don't want to waste your time or your money. So spend some time, do live streams like this stuff with me, watch lots of videos. Maybe even I do some streams on the Adobe's channel, like the Adobe Daily Creative Challenge. Maybe check that out. Follow along, get used to it. That's a free way. The challenges over at Adobe are great. It's a free way for you to be challenged, submit your work, get critique and feedback. And it allows you to get a starting file provided for you and tear things apart and work. I'm a big fan of doing things. Like the shirt right here says make rad stuff. That's my shirt. It's because I just believe in doing and making and not getting bogged down so much with learning. Okay, so Caio Gonzalez has a question, and he has thank you so much for just contributing and asking your question, Caio. Really appreciate that. Hey Jesse, great seeing you live. Which program do you use for more realistic prototype? We're gonna get to that, Caio, but since you were so kind as to make a little contribution, I'll just give you a little cheat sheet. Let's go right to it. I am gonna show at the end of the stream how to use Rotato to do some fun animated 3-dimensional phones and like framed stuff. That's really cool. And then I'm also going to use Artboard Studio. These are 2 of my favorite tools for creating mockups after you're done. So I hope that answers your question for now, but stay tuned because we're gonna keep doing a little bit more. And we might not have as much time to do design stuff because I do want to get to the prototype stuff, because I think it'll help you guys start making your portfolios, start getting work done, start doing. So great question, but we are going to be looking at Artboard Studio. You can find that at artboard.studio, and also Rotato. That's rotato.xyz. It's this great app where you can make these really realistic, 4K animated deals. Oh, it's so good. If you have an Adobe CC subscription, you could try Adobe Dimension. That's a good one too. But that's where I would start. Okay. So Caio, thank you again for contributing. Thanks for your generosity, and then also for that great question. Let's start designing this next piece, shall we? Let's get to it. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I think we're going to take the background here, and we're going to fill it with our purple color. What was our purple color again? Let's go find it here. Take it and save it. Whoa, let's unlock our navigation. Let's take that purple color just like that, and let's save it in the swatches right here so that we can come up here and fill our background with the swatch just like that. I feel like I don't like that purple color. I feel like it should be a little bit more on this fun blue kind of side. Okay, so we could definitely go back. And here's now we have multiple screens. This is a really good time to, come up here and actually turn this navigation into a component so that we can take that component and we can use it on multiple artboards. Hey, if you're doing user interface design, you should really consider and start using components as soon as stinking possible, because that's what interface design is all about. It's about scaling applications, not to these 2 kind of screens, but to 200. That's realistically, if we wanted to build an application, these 2 little dribble shots are not going to do it. It's going to become massive, and changing the color of an icon like we just did is gonna be a pain in the tuchus. You tracking with me? Okay, great. So I'm gonna draw another rectangle here. We'll just lead that down to the bottom, and we're gonna bring it behind our navigation. Let's take the border off, and let's have a little bit of fun with this thing. I'm gonna hit enter, it's gonna turn it into a path. Okay, and why don't we bring this down here? Just go something like that. Ooh, we're having fun right now. Okay, just a little bit of a shape. I'm digging that shape. And then let's add a slight little negative axis border, or excuse me, drop shadow on that thing. Just so it has a, look at a little dimensionality. Watch, let's zoom in. See the little bit of dimensionality there? That's fun. It doesn't take a lot. So a long time ago, somebody just defined good user experience design. You ever watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith? When he started acting, everything was like real big and insane, right? That's drop shadows. They're big, they're massive, every button is huge. That's being crazy. But if you watch Will Smith in I Am Legend, and there's a gentle little tear that just runs down his cheek, that's better acting. That's much better. And it gets the point across, doesn't it? So subtle is better. Doesn't have to always be big and massive in your face. You just have to know when to do those things, I guess is what I'm saying. Why don't we do this like that? Okay, so again, our white color is there of our navigation. We have our off-white for our shape, and we have like a background color. Now what we're gonna do is, why don't we take the shoe itself, okay, right there, let's make it nice and big, okay? And you might be going, Jesse, you just said subtle, but we do wanna feature the product. So getting back to an older comment that was there, which is like, you know, how do I have a good user experience? It's offering the user exactly what they're looking for when they tap or click on something. Okay, that's a good user experience. I tapped on this blue shoe, bloop, it plopped me over, and I got visually confirmed of this blue shoe. So let's do a back button right here. Let's make it a little bit smaller. It doesn't have to be so massive. And let's move our little arrow in, and let's turn our arrow white. And I feel like those are backwards. It should probably be something more like that, shouldn't it? Let's line them up. We'll just use our alignment tools, group them. We'll call this the back button, okay? All right, let's see. Thank you, Jesse, for all the videos of UI, UX. I learn a lot from them. Thank you so much, Shubham. I really appreciate you. I just appreciate you spending the time, being here with me, being an encourager and a supporter. Let me know if there's any questions I can answer for you, but you are awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay. Let's start dropping some information. So we're gonna grab all the information we had on the previous guy. Let's drag it right down there below. Okay, so now we're gonna do a little bit of formatting. Okay, a little bit of formatting. Just grab all of our elements there, and we're gonna add new elements. So remember, we had a consistent kind of spacing on the side there of 30 pixels, and we were breaking it. If you wanna make sure you're keeping that, you can draw out some smart guides along the sides. I did not mean for guides and sides to rhyme, but it totally did, which made it better in my opinion. Okay, so let's drag that down. Now we have consistency, right? Look, check it out. Boop, 30. Whoop, 30 right there. Check it out. DJ Jack says, hello. What's up, DJ Jack? Are you actually a DJ? I want to know, because that would be great. Kaio, I'm so happy that I answered your question. We'll try to answer any other questions you have for sure, but those, definitely check those out because those are good ones, okay? Okay, let's see. How are we doing? Ooh, Lucas asks, hello, I'm Lucas. I'm a front-end web developer. I would like to learn UI and UX design. You're in the right place. I also am a front-end developer that likes UI and UX design. Again, I'm going to give a lot of the same advice. You're going to hear it's like a broken record, but just start doing it, Lucas. Just start tearing files apart. Just start joining some challenges. Just start doing it and you will improve. I feel like a lot of people get caught up on this idea they need to go to school or university or whatever it is, but you don't. You can if that's your vibe, but so much education has moved online that I'm not really a firm believer anymore in that being the only place where you can get education. If that floats your boat, if you love it, then you should go. But if it doesn't, maybe consider just really becoming a person who can crush things and be a self-starter and, you know, really get motivated and stay focused. I think that's probably a better thing. Okay, let's drop this to regular. Let's bring the color down. We don't want to lose contrast here. Tracking with me? We don't want to lose contrast, but we do want to open up our plugins and we want to look for some content here. So let's do content generator. I'm looking for some text. Really just wanted like a paragraph, boom, like that, okay? So again, all just a concept project, but we'd want to have actual, if we were going to present this to a client, you don't want to leave lorem ipsum in it ever. You always want to put other stuff in it after you're done. Okay, so don't leave lorem ipsum. Oh gosh, I cannot tell you how many times I've tried to present things with the lorem ipsum and I forgot, and people are like, what happened to the copy? What happened to the content? Oof, don't do that, okay? Some people are saying they can't see certain things that I'm doing, so I'm gonna bop myself over to the right-hand side of the screen. Okay, let's do this. And so again, we could think about like what else there might be here. Like maybe we have details. But I do wanna note this, when you're doing design, I'm creating some patterns, some UI patterns. If you ever wondered what that term is, if you're new to this, a UI pattern is a pattern that you've established that you see over and over and over. Look, here's a pattern, right? We have the title with the price and the reviews underneath them. There's a pattern. Here's another pattern that I just formed right here. We could see we have a subheader with typography or copy underneath it. Let's group it together. That is a little pattern. So we just reuse that pattern. Okay, it creates familiarity. I can't say familiarity right now, but I just finally got it out. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we could do something like color, and instead of there being text in here, we could do some little swatches of color, right? So they could change the color of the shoe. Like maybe there's purple. Let's do a repeat grid here. That'll make it really, really simple. Something like that. This one could be, whoa. Okay, let's just ungroup it from the grid here. And then let's grab these and fill them with some other colors like blue. Okay, what other color should this shoe be? It could be like this fun orange red, and maybe you can also get it in black, okay? Pretty cool. Now, what we also want to do is, it would be really cool for this little guy right here to become the buy now button, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be nice? So we have the price listed, and that's great. But what if I ungroup this, okay, component, and what we'll do is we would take, you know what we could do? Okay, I'm gonna start thinking in states. So if you're not used to Adobe XD, this might be your first lesson in component states. We have a component here. This is the default state. We're gonna create a new state that this component can live in, and we're gonna call this the buy state, okay? In the buy state, well, first thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna go back to our default state. Let's do a little bit of design work on top of it, okay? We're gonna put our cost in. Okay, let's bump it up like this. Fill it with that darker color. Okay, maybe even go up to a medium here, something like that. And then let's do a button. You're going, this does not look good, Jesse. Just hang in there. I promise. It'll make sense in a second, okay? We're gonna make a little button right now. Why don't we make a little pill type button? Okay, I'm gonna bring some text over it. And you can see as I'm making these changes in one place, it's making those changes everywhere. It's important to remember that when you work with components, you get what you ask for. You get that awesomeness, okay? Let's do this. Add to cart. Okay, so we're gonna do add to cart. Let's shrink it down. There's a nice little button. Let's grab the button, group it together, name it button. Let's make a component out of the button while we're at it. And why don't we add a little shadow with the purple color. Really bright. When you're doing purple shadows, you gotta go real light. You gotta be real chill on it, okay? I'm gonna answer some more questions in a second, but I just wanted to get a little bit of work done. Okay, so there we have it, okay? This is our default state. We wanna make sure that in our default state, we bring these elements down, right? That's still our navigation. But in the buy state, we wanna bring these elements up, and we wanna bring all of the icons down. You tracking with me? Whoa. Let's make sure we grab all of them like so. And actually, I wasn't trying to do this, but if you want to get like kind of a fun timed animation, there's no timeline inside of Adobe XD, but we can place these on different spots like that, can't we? We totally can, okay? So now if we go back, we have the default state. We could do the same with that. Let's pop it down a little bit. And then we have the buy state, okay? So that means that I have the same one over here, like it's in the default state, and I have the buy state over here. If I was to do a simple, right now, nothing's really gonna work. I promise you this. But if we go to our prototype tab and we click on our featured shoe and come over here, nothing's gonna work, but the navigation might work, okay? We can click on our back button to go back. Now let's check that first prototype. We have an auto animate on tap. It's gonna head over to featured, and why don't we do a snap for our easing? And let's go right back. It's gonna do the same thing, auto animate, snap, all that good stuff. I'm gonna hit the little house right there so that that's the start of our prototype always. Let's press play, and nothing else should really work. It should look a little bit broken, I promise you this, but the bottom of the navigation here should kind of work. So let's tap. Ooh, okay, kind of worked. There you go. See the animation that's happening there? Everything else is kind of just flashing, but our navigation down there is actually animating in and out. And if it's a little too fast for you, come back in, change the easing. How about 0.6? Ooh, change that 3 to a 6, right? And then we do the same thing here. Change that 3 to something like a 6. Let's look at it again really quickly. We go back, little slower. Check it out. Whoop! We get that nice little animation, which is kind of cool. Okay, let's answer a couple questions really quickly. How much do you charge for a whole UI design for a single app? It really depends. I wish I could give you a solid question. I'll tell you right now, I saw I'm not saying you should charge hourly, but we tend to all kind of think hourly. If you're a skilled designer, I was driving by the other day in my hometown and I saw somebody was hiring bus drivers for $20 an hour. And I thought to myself, that is a decent wage, 20 bucks an hour, right? If you're a skilled designer and you're offering somebody designs that could end up making them lots of money, then your services should be worth more, at least $20 an hour. So you have to start thinking in those terms relative to what the rest of the world is making. If you have a very skilled, niched, a very niched skill, then you should be able to charge a decent amount for it. Don't always charge hourly, but if you're thinking about what value you should get or should bring, it should be more than driving a bus. That's all I would say. Okay, so how much do I charge? It depends on the requirements, the time frame, how many screens, complexity of design. Is it a redesign? Is it a fresh design? What do you have to work with? I don't know. I would before I would answer that question, I would ask lots of diagnostic questions. If you're really interested, I would go check out Chris Doe and the guys over at The Future, the people at The Future. They talk a lot about business and freelance. I talk about it a little bit, but they are way more experts than I. So go definitely subscribe to The Future's channel. They're amazing. They're awesome. Okay, so we have a little bit of that going on. I don't have a whole lot more time for my lunch here. I got to get going pretty soon. But I do want to answer some more questions, and I want to show you this really cool thing over here. So I tell you what, let's take a little break from design. Let's jump over here, main camera. Let's answer some more questions. Let's see. Is graphic design the future-proof profession? Will robots replace us all? I don't think that robots will ever replace designers. How could they? Design has to, it can't be stock. It can't be canned. There's always a time and a place for that. You can go buy a WordPress template right now for like 40 bucks and put up a WordPress site yourself if you want. It's not gonna be custom tailored. Which one fits better? A suit that you get from Men's Warehouse off the rack, or a custom tailored suit? There will always be Men's Warehouse customers, but there will always be custom tailored customers as well. You tracking? So I think that cheap canned design will probably replace a lot of things, but I don't think custom design will ever be replaced. It requires somebody to really sit down and diagnose problems and solve those problems with the tools that they have, which is design. So I don't think it'll completely be, but I am probably going to release a video here pretty soon and a bunch of videos on some tools for all of you front-end developers out there who love code. I love code too, but the amount of no code or less code tools out there that are kicking butt is amazing. So I would definitely start looking at some no-code tools, because I can code a site in Webflow in like one night versus hand rolling the entire site for myself, and that takes me like a week. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying it replaces hand coding. I am saying it's really, really good though, and that's something that you can do, okay? Except for Behance, Pinterest, and Dribbble, where can we get design ideas? The best place, right here, your own head. If everybody has a small entrepreneurial kind of like spirit to them, right? Maybe you've always wanted to open a dog walking business. Maybe you've always wanted to start your own restaurant. Maybe you've always wanted, any of these ideas you have, if you sit down and just write out those ideas, they can get turned into concept work for your portfolio. This is where real inspiration can come from, the things around you, the things you're interested in, because you'll be more passionate about the dog walking business you've always wanted to open than some random project like a shoe app. Like, you might not be passionate about this, but you'd probably be more passionate about the things that you love, right? So do what you love, focus on what you love. Where did I get the shoe picks? I got shoe picks from Adobe Stock. I had some credits there, but you can use a lot of great stock photography sites would be places like Unsplash or Pexels is another good one. So Unsplash, beautiful free images and pictures. Pexels has not only imagery, but it also has video if you're looking for some stock video. So those are some good resources. Do you recommend any books for self-taught designers? I always recommend the Non-Designer's Design Book by Robin Williams, not that Robin Williams, a different Robin Williams. Great book. I would also recommend, let me see, what do I have on my shelf over here that I would recommend? I would definitely recommend pick up a Logo Lounge book if you're into logo design, because that's just great. You can just filter through tons and tons of great resources. It's nice to see them. That's just a little thing. And then where's the one? Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug. If you want to do digital design or product design of any kind, it's an old book, and it just looks real old. You feel like it wouldn't be relatable, but it is. It's totally relatable. How do you do component states in Figma, or is there any other way to do that? I don't think Figma has component states right now. I have been using XD a lot more, but I need to check back in on Figma. They're definitely crushing the collaboration game. It's amazing to be in a document with your team doing stuff. They have Smart Animate, similar to Auto Animate in XD, but I don't think they have component states, but I do really like that about XD. But you know what I really love about Figma? Handling and creating a design system is a great flow inside of Figma. And I have a video on that somewhere on my channel, so check that out. Okay. Thank you for enlightening us with all this information. You're so welcome. Ayub, I love to be here. Where am I sitting right now? I'm sitting in my office with a green screen behind me. And I have set up this whole green screen like situation in my office. I have lights right here. I have a microphone right here. Green screen is right behind me. Yeah, that's where I'm sitting. So, okay, great question. Let's see. What would be the equivalent of component states in Figma? Yeah, sorry, I already answered that one. Sorry, there's so many questions. I'm trying to answer them all. It's hard to see them sometimes. Alexander says, I learned a lot with your videos. Trying to translate that knowledge in Spanish to my YouTube channel. Thanks, Jesse. Hey, you're so welcome. I'm glad. I don't speak fluently, don't speak Spanish, but I'm glad that you could take that information and reuse. This is all free information. Just take it, have it, steal the info, and do your thing, right? Okay. Can you use XD professionally? Absolutely. You can definitely use XD professionally. It's a great tool, and it ties into the rest of the Adobe Creative Suite. Like, for instance, let's jump back over to my screen. If you wanted to go here and the auto animate that we're seeing is not quite enough for you, like you want a little bit more than what's happening here, you can go and you can export this thing to After Effects, which is insane. And it'll bring all your layers over. So the integration in the CC suite is really nice, the Adobe suite. Sketch versus Adobe XD. I'm gonna go XD. I'm over Sketch. Ooh, those are fighting words. I know, I'm sorry. Okay, I don't have a whole lot of time. I was gonna do some more design and animation stuff, but I'm running out of time. So what I wanna do, so we can answer a previous question that was asked by my friend, Kao, or I'm probably messing up your name. I'm so sorry. I hope you're still here. But I'm going to export these designs to the desktop, okay? So we have shoes and we have featured, and I'm going to head over to Artboard Studio. If you haven't used Artboard Studio, let me tell you what, it is a really good product. It's all online, it's browser based, and what it's going to allow us to do is, let's start with a template, okay? They have lots of templates. You can start from scratch, just completely blank, and you could pull in elements, but I'm going to start with a template. I'm going to drill down to the digital templates, and I like to see my mockups in a little bit more of like a realistic setting. That's just me personally. So let's see, can we find one that has, I like it, I'm digging it. Let's do this one. We'll just do one screen. So I'm going to click on it. It's going to bring up a template for me, okay? Somebody says, what do you think about design sprints? Love design sprints. You should check out the folks over at AJ and Smart. They're all about the design sprint and they're amazing at it. Okay, so design sprints are where it's at. Let's see. So now that I have my template up and running, you can see it's just like Photoshop or any other design thing. We have elements and it's like doing smart objects inside of Photoshop. It's taking all the hard work out of it for us. So I can double click on the phone and look, I can just drag my design right into place like that. And when I come back, oh my gosh, it just it just replaced it. How nice is that? Come on, that's so good. Okay, so once I'm here, I can export it. I can export it as a PSD even. Come on, Artboard Studio, you know what's going on. So that's one way you can do it. Another thing you can do is we can bring up, it's not going to be very impressive, but we can record. Ready? We're going to record inside of Adobe XD. Do a little bit of animation here. Click. Good. Go back. Down again. Click. Go back. And then we stop. And when we stop, it says, hey, where do you want to save this? I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'm going to use an app called Rotato. And I'm actually going to open it up. Where is it? Sometimes it's called Design Camera. I think they were originally called Design Camera, and I might have not updated mine quite yet. So we have Design Camera open. I'm going to show you how easy it is to use. This does cost. It is a paid application before anybody asks me that, but you're going to see how awesome this is, okay? I'm going to take that MP4. That's a video that I have here. I'm literally just going to drag it right in and drop it on top. And there it is, okay? Now I want to head over to the Animations tab here, and I can preview some animations. So let's try this one. Okay, and we just added it down here, and it's gonna animate the whole thing for us. See that? Whoa, that's pretty cool. Now I can delete these off the timeline. I don't like those, right? Let's go back to animations. Let's do something, I like the little preview that we get here. So let's do this one. Let's add it there. Let's preview it just like so. Pretty cool. Okay. And if we want, we can actually take these elements. I think we could drag them out, but that's probably fine for us. Let's just do that. And from here, you can actually render the movie. So I'm just gonna come up and render this here movie. Also, before we render the movie, if you had any sort of assets you wanted to do, you could throw them in the background or you can update them here. So you can actually drag assets into here and update your background. You can make it transparent and then render it out as a transparent .mov. And then from there, you can drop it into Premiere Pro or After Effects and do all sorts of other fun animated stuff. But that's how we get some cool, fun 3D interaction that has the video actually inside of it. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I'm digging it. All right, so while that's exporting, I'm just gonna kick back over here, answer a few more questions, and then I gotta get going because my lunch is ending, everybody. It's been really, really fun doing this live stream with all of you, though. John Fink says, do you ever use images you just can't find on a stock site? Sometimes. If you can't find it, you got to take the images yourself, John. So that's a good skill for a designer. Doesn't matter if you do digital design, graphic design, logo and branding, photography, drawing. These are all good skills that we can practice. Just scribble and shoot and get better at them. It's really easy. Watch a couple YouTube videos. You'll learn a little bit about lighting, cameras, boom, whatever. You can take great photos with a phone, with an iPhone, and then actually bring them into Photoshop, and then you have your own custom imagery. You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed how easy it is with just a little bit of lighting. So try that out. And definitely good skills to learn. Any other last few questions? Maybe a few more questions. I gotta get going. I appreciate your videos so much. I use XD on PC, but I don't think the PC version can animate in the same way. Oh, it absolutely can. I use it on PC as well. You just want to make sure when you're prototyping, you're using the auto animate feature on tap or drag or whatever it is that you're doing, right? You just got to make sure you use the auto animate feature. That's it, but it should absolutely work. Let's see. Carlos says, what is the average salary of a remote web designer that you consider appropriate? It kind of depends on skill set. Are you a junior designer? Are you just starting out? You should probably be expecting, and you can do a little bit of research on Glassdoor and a few other places. I know just looking at job interviews and the offers that they'll offer for somebody of your skill set and of your amount of experience, find that information there. You get a general idea. If you're a junior designer looking for a remote position, web designer, I don't know, it could be like 40,000, maybe 45 as a junior designer. You start becoming like a senior designer or a design manager, those can range up, right? But you're probably not gonna just be a web designer. You're probably gonna need to be more. You're gonna have to have other skills. I'm actually really hoping to release a course soon on soft skills for designers, because those are actually very, very important skills that a lot of people tend to ignore. Are you a good communicator? Are you a good leader? Are you a good team player? Do you write good emails? Are you considerate? Are you all of these things? Are you a self-starter? Are you responsible? Do you have good time management? Those things matter so much, and so often people get caught up on the technical side of things, the doing side. They forget you have to also be awesome, and people want to work with awesome people. So just throwing that out there. Do you think reading good books on UX is a good idea? Absolutely. Books are always a win. They have to go through a publishing process, so a lot of times they're vetted. I like a lot of the O'Reilly books, and those are really, really good ones. So maybe check some of those out. Let's see. Merv says that they've learned a lot today. I'm so glad. That's exciting. Okay, cool. Glad to catch the live stream. Thanks for spending these 50 minutes with us. You bet. It has been absolutely exciting. Thank you, everybody, for being on the live stream. I am probably, let's see, did our thing export? Nah, I don't think it exported yet. It's going to take a little bit longer, but that's okay. That's okay. We don't need to see it. You guys got the point, right? So I'm actually doing a live stream in a little bit on the Adobe Live channel. So come on, come over there, check it out. And I think I'm going to be on there 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure that you guys join me there. There'll be design files for you guys to work with and all that kind of good stuff. So appreciate you guys being here. How do you structure a portfolio? I tell you what, meet me back here next week. I'm going to do another live stream next week. We do a little less design, a little bit more portfolio work, perhaps. That'd be great. And maybe even some portfolio reviews. So get your portfolios ready, have them on Behance, Dribbble, on a website, whatever is most convenient for you. And then stay tuned for next week's live stream where we'll be doing some portfolio reviews. You just post your links right there in the chat, and then I'll take a look at them. I'll interact with you guys live. That'd be a lot of fun. Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys again so much for watching the live stream. I am signing off. Have a great lunch, great rest of your day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. I hope you are designing amazing stuff, having an amazing week, and just growing in your skill set, not only as a designer, but as a person. I'll see you next time. Take care.